Is it tough to be retired? I mean, what's going on?
It is. Well, I mean, it's in the sense that, you miss the guys. I mean, it's you get used to kind of every day in the locker room and having that banter, back and forth. And there is one thing, I don't know, it's kind of weird to share. Can I share with you? This has really got me through the tough times. Like whenever I really miss it, I just I break out my Callingerham bobblehead.
Looking back, it was a lot of fun. I started, I think it was 01 when I came, and had played previously against the Steelheads, and just remembered how much fun it was to come here and what a great fan base they had. So really looked forward to it and didn't disappoint. My time here was great.
It was an unbelievable experience. Just the town, the way they bring you in and they make you feel like it's a home for you. I miss this place. I really enjoyed playing here, and the fans were great to me, and had a lot of fun.
I've coached 35 years in hockey, and I've coached at a lot of different levels. Coaching here in Idaho, in the West Coast Hockey League, in the ECHL, in this building with these fans, it's certainly been the highlight of my coaching career. I've got my fondest memories of hockey. We've won a championship here together, and it's just memories that I'll never forget.
Being in Idaho Steelhead was one of the most memorable parts of my career. Playing in Boise, I mean, I made it my home. Such a great town, such a great crowd. Winning a championship with the guys, just being part of this organization has been one of the biggest parts of my life, and just continue to live in Boise and enjoy everybody in Boise and the community around it, and just such great support for the team.
For me, being here when I was young, about 20 years old, it definitely made it like a family for me. And it's continued on until now, being 37 years old, and in and out over the years. I got to come back for a couple years later on, and it was just like walking into somebody you knew yesterday. The management, obviously Beastie's still here, and different coaches, but the core, the feeling was the same that the Steelheads put in, and it's always been like a little family here for me.
Best hockey years of my life. I got to play in a lot of different places, and I ended up being here. I think it was the first trade of the Idaho Steelheads coming here early in the season from the Bakersfield Fog. And to be honest with you, wasn't quite sure where even Boise was on a map. Wouldn't be able to pick it out. And Dumas and Edwards came in the locker room and said, "Dude, you're gonna love this place. It's amazing." And
it's just it was a great honor, obviously, to be a part of the group here, and just a great bunch of guys, a great organization. Everything was top notch, and then to still live here, obviously, I think it says a lot with a lot of the guys that still live here. Just a great community, great fan support. Everything has been unbelievable.
Well, I mean, it's a great feeling to be a part of this team and the organization. Kind of from day one or second year, and to see how successful they've been, selling out games in year 20, and still a great draw and a great place to watch a game. So it's a great feeling to be a part of this organization.
Oh, that's a tough one. A couple things that stick out, like Konopka and Galbraith together were just, there's so many stories. Just watching those guys, you couldn't help but laugh.
Being around the guys, just the relationships you develop with everybody, just being around everybody, it was so much fun. And playing hockey and going to battle every night with them was a lot of fun.
I wasn't one of the guys that went out. Most of my time on the road was spent in someone's room winning someone's money, playing a lot of cards. We didn't go out a lot. Listening to some of the young guys, how they went out, and thinking, wow, I used to be able to do that. I can't do that anymore. It just was a great time.
On road trips, Rob Kincannon was one guy that, he was only here briefly, but probably the funniest, craziest guy that I've ever met. We'd have a delay at the airport, and he'd disappear for a while, and then come back pushing somebody down the aisle in a wheelchair.
I remember, I think it was game 2 in Florida. Galbraith took an elbow from a guy, got knocked cold on the ice. The guy ended up getting suspended for 2 or 3 games. I get in the locker room after the period, and I know Galbraith is out, and Galbraith is in the shower, putting his gear back on. I go, "What's going on?" Konopka had him take a quick shower. He said it was just mind over matter. He'd have no trouble getting back there. Come on, he can do it. Well, Galbraith couldn't even see. He could barely stand up. He didn't finish the game, but sure enough came back in the next game and played.
When we got bored, we had some creative, disturbing minds on the team. Pranks in the airport, pranks in the hotel room, just sitting around, I'd be honest with you, just hanging out. And
yeah, I think I'd have to go off the ice for that. I mean, I'm sure there's a few on-ice things that happen to a guy, you know, falling by himself or whatever, but it happens to everybody. But, you know, off-ice stuff, just I can't think of anything really offhand, but...
Well, you learn how to really milk a joke. He's actually like when I say right beside me in bed, I'm not talking on a mantle. I mean, he lies with me. Like, he's got his own pillow on the bed, and I wobble him. I like to wobble him around a little bit. It gives him a little more lifelike feel. Like, things would go like as simple as someone screwed up, and we would now be milking that joke for the next 2 hours. It would get funnier each time. So, and it's weird though. The mustache here, it was actually more cheesy back in the day. It wasn't so pencil. I don't know if you can see that, but it's really pencil thin, and it was actually quite a bit more embarrassing of a mustache back then. But it does the job. It makes me feel like I'm back in the locker room again.
Another great story is, you know, everyone flies Southwest knows that they say for those carrying small children, you know, you're free to board. And on one trip, Robbie picked me up and he carried me on, and they actually let us go onto the plane.
Those two guys together going out to the airport when we played the Gwinnett Gladiators, and they're out there wearing gladiator costumes, and then the series against Florida, they're wearing safari costumes with dragging the alligators behind them, of course.
Oh, no, it was good. I mean, the guys had, we didn't get over crazy.
You know, it was one of the first times living in the apartments in Columbia Village, and you know, there's that big hill that goes all the way down. And at my first rookie year, Birdie and Yabo and some of the guys lived at the bottom of the hill. And one night, there's just this low hum coming up the hill, and we all look at our apartments, and there's Birdie and Yabo on those little tiny mini bikes. Yabo no shirt on, just cruising up the hill. It's probably one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
You know, everybody was always respectful, but God, there's some, you know, I've seen some lampshades go flying off second, you know, balcony decks in Tacoma from a roommate of mine. You know, there's just been some interesting stuff.
You know, you play with guys like Lance Galbraith and Travis White come to mind, and it's just, there's always something going on. You know, so many hours in the airport, there's probably a ton of stories that I, you know, could think about, or I'm sure that we'll be talking about this weekend. But, you know, just the whole hanging out with the guys, it's just, there's a number of stories I'm sure that, like I said, will come up here.
I think just, you know, thanks for the memories. It's even when I didn't play here, most of my fan memories are of the fans here. We had a lot of fun, had great support, fortunately had a lot of success, but always had a lot of support from the people. And even when, you know, we had some bad runs during the seasons, they'd still support us, and obviously might not be most enthusiastic, but after all was said and done, I think the fans here are top notch.
They made me feel like home. Coming out of college, you know, you bounce around a lot as a hockey player, and when you get to a place where you feel like home, you know, it's just phenomenal to be able to feel it from the fans. You know, we do a lot of stuff in the community, so we got to meet the fans, and to this day, coming to the rink, you know, not playing for 4 years, walking around, there's always somebody to talk to, smiling faces, and it's a really great hockey community. And
everything in Idaho is first class. Everything about it, from the ownership to the building to the management, Eric Trapp and his staff. You know, they've been the one constant. Coaches come and go, players come and go, but the commitment to excellence is there every year. And the fan support here is phenomenal.
Well, they make it the place that you want to come to play. You know, they're rowdy. They love it when the games are high scoring, high speed, and as well as when you get into a fight for them. Happen a time or two. So yeah, just they're a lot of fun to play in front of. And they're passionate fans, so it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, they're a big part of it for sure. I mean, anytime you have 5,000 screaming fans for you, I mean, it really motivates you. And, you know, especially at home, we want to be a tough team to play at home. And I think, you know, over the years, we had a pretty good home record for the most part every year. So, you know, couldn't have done it without them. It's obviously a great city, great fan support, great organization, like I said before. So without them, probably wouldn't have happened.
I'd like to thank them for making this place so welcoming. From my first year here, 20 years old, that's 17 years ago. And still to this day, some of those same fans are in the seats still. And it was more than just on the ice. And I made this my home for years after. We were here for like 12 years. And that was a reason, because we made this home, is because of the city, the people here. And so I thank them for being awesome and making this place what it is.
You guys don't realize how amazing an experience you guys made this. Like I said, been in a lot of different places on the road or even playing at. And it is a very unique experience here in terms of a player's perspective that we all love and endear, and it's hard to even put into words of what that feeling might be, that gut feeling, but it's acceptance. It's kind of wow, you really are appreciated, and it really, you talk to everybody that played here, they have this, I want to work a little harder for these people, I want to give it that little extra effort. I don't want to let them down because I know they're really behind you. And you might think that's in every rink, but it is to a degree, but much different here, and I don't know if I can give it words.
Thank you. I mean, it's none of this really obviously is possible. I know that's a huge cliche, but without the fans and the support that the Steelheads have received over 20 years, I mean, how many teams we've seen in the West Coast League go belly up, and here we are still going strong in 20 years and selling out, and having some great teams, and it's a great spot to be in to watch a game.
So the reason why Idaho continues to be a dominant force in the ECHL year in, year out is because of the fans. Players love to come here and be supported like this and have this type of energy in the building every night, and it's one of the things that continues to allow them to be at or near the top of the league every year.